So to go in a little bit, we want to talk about what we did our first episode on was checking IDs and screening people before they get into the bar and solving the problems when they're small before they get big.
Yeah.
Would you give us just a few words on this about, you know?
Oh, you mean the place that the new guys go, but I don't want to be on the door, it's boring.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is where we administer what's known as an educational beatdown. Shut the fuck up, hit the door, shut the Let me explain to you why it's important, right? Your doorman is the first line of defense for the school, for the bar, right? One of the things that you have to do is get somebody who, number one, can look at the IDs instead of the TEDs, right? Oh yeah. You're 42. I can tell. No, man, she's got her sisters. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things. But it's your first filter, right? One of the things is that once you and first thing you have to train these guys is how to spot signs of intoxication, right? Simple trick here. And you know how like when the cop says, "Can I see this?" and then he asks you some other question. He's actually testing you because drunks can't multitask. Okay? Same thing, it's like learn how to spot intoxication. So it's like while I'm looking for my, while I'm going for my ID, if you ask me, what's the square root of 9? It's like, yeah, 3, right?
Yeah.
The fact that I can answer the question while still doing this task is a really good indicator that I'm not ripped.
I think back to every time that I've been drunk and I can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Barely that. Like,
Yes.
I can get the keys in the door.
Yeah.
That's thinking.
Oh, that one's easy. As you're sitting there with the keys and think you're all like, yeah, it works, man. I swear to God. But, yeah, and it really does. The trick is you got to get people trained not to let the drunks in, right? Because once you let that drunk, there's a line out of the movie Men in Black where the cop wheels in a body with a cat on it, and the coroner says, well, what's with the cat? And he goes, oh yeah, the cat here, sign here. She signs here. He goes, the cat's a problem. She goes, what's the problem? He goes, it's your problem now. Okay, you let that drunk in, he's your problem.
Yeah.
Right? Which means you guys cannot prove, unless you got video, right there that, he got to the bar and was refused service. Otherwise you can't prove that you aren't the one that made him drunk.
I had a situation like that. I wanted to get cameras. My partner didn't want to. We put in all the cameras. A girl came in, walked in, caused problems, got kicked out, and she wound up running somebody over.
Yeah.
And we could prove that we hadn't served her one drink.
Right.
And that the door guy asked her out.
Right.
If I hadn't have had that protection,
Yes.
it would have been
There is
horrible.
huge part. Look, one of the things about being security in bars is your job is to protect the owner's interest, right? And that's sometimes really a hard job.
It's a hard line.
Because
It's a hard line.
no. Because why do we need this stuff? I walked away from a job. It was a gold mine, right? They wanted to open the only strip club up in Flagstaff, Arizona. Right now, we're talking a T section of 2 major highways. Only thing here, and right in the armpit of the interchange. Right? This guy saw a gold mine, and I went, ooh, yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Right? Then I started looking at the problems. And I said, okay, now to do this, we're gonna need this, and this. And I, got this thing, and he wanted me to control it and run it and do all this, and we need this. And he cheaped out on us. Right? And the one thing that really, there's a difference between killing and murder. The closest I ever came to murder was he sat there and he looked at it and goes, well, I don't understand why we need all this stuff. And I said, because I don't want to die protecting your interest. And he goes, well, that's your job. Fortunately,
a couple $100 a night ain't for dying.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the manager was there going, nope. That's not the thing to say to him, But that's the thing of, protecting the interest and investing in this stuff and realizing that your actions are going to be called up, right? And you need to cover your ass. So that's you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples of talking people out and how you get people out of the bar?
Okay, one of my favorites, and I'm dating myself here by talking about this, is, you know, back when smoking was loud, right, before everybody got paranoid about secondhand smoke, which by the way is junk science.
Yeah.
What I would have is, I'm gonna, yes, with my magic wand, this becomes an orange ashtray. And what would happen is that the waitress would say, this guy's getting a little drunk. She'd come up and tell me, right, that guy's getting there. And by the way, I'm gonna lick the ashtray. But, so what I would do is I'd come walking in and I have a stack of black ashtrays with one orange one. So I take his ashtray and leave the orange one and move on. And that was a signal to all the wait staff he was cut off. And from then on, they'd walk by and like, Miss, can I'll be with you in a second, sir. And Miss, it's, one second, let me.
Really?
So basically, you know, they would avoid him. Now, one of the things that this does is that drunks tend to get territorial. This is my table, right? They will defend their territory, right? So what would happen is that the guy not getting his drink would eventually get up and leave his territory. He'd go up to the bar, right? And he'd walk up to the bar and he'd order the drinks and he'd be told that he'd get cut off, right? Now, that makes the bartender the bad guy, okay? I am in cut off. God damn it, I want another drink. I do that well, don't I?
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah, you know, we won't talk about experience, we'll just talk about observation.
This isn't method acting, folks.
Yeah.
This is actually so.
Well, so, okay, you could be the drunk up there, right?
I can't believe you're gonna cut me off.
This dude is the problem,
Yeah.
right? And what the drunk would hear is, excuse me, sir, may I help you? Is there anything I can do to help you?
Drink.
I understand that, but we have a little bit of a problem.
Well,
Yeah, well, the problem is you've had enough for tonight, and we need to get you home.
I don't think I had enough. I barely even had like 3 beers since I got here.
I understand that, sir, but you know, the problem is we got to look out for our customers, right? Now, what have I just done here? You can be sober again.
You've taken the drunk's attention off the bartender, off the bad guy.
Right. The bad guy is no longer, that guy's over there.
Yeah.
But what am I?
Now you're a confidant, you're a friend, you're somebody trying to help.
I'm here to help him, right? So now we're together against that asshole bartender. Okay. So I become his friend. Now, one of the things about drunks, it's really important to understand is they exist in the now. They've lost the future, right? So the trick on this is we've taken his ire away from the bartender, right? I'm not the problem, I'm a solution to the problem, I'm here to help, but more importantly is even though he's cut off for tonight, it doesn't mean he's cut off for forever.
Yeah.
And I tell him he can come back tomorrow, which, hey, you know what? He has money, we want his money.
I love using that ultimatum in the negotiations. If everything's cool now and you leave now, you can come back tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah,
But if
Right.
you keep pushing it,
Well, that's the unstated part of the message.
Right.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
the thing is, look, I don't want you to get busted. Do you want? I'll call a cab for you, and I'm really because I want you to come back and have a good time
I'll
again.
buy you a drink the next time I see you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, so that gets them locked out of the now,
Yeah.
and it's less of an insult.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It gives them a face-saving exit, and more than that, I am his buddy. I am his pal. Right?
Just touched on a really important thing, that the ability to let them save a little bit of face is huge to the situation.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sense of
Right.
importance.
And that's one thing of you can't let your own need for having the last word.
Nope. That's gone when you signed to be.
Yeah, when you got the job, it's like, you know.
You are a bitch, your mother's a whore, all of it.
Oh, you know that too? Yeah. You know, although actually, the one that I really, really love, and it totally spins their heads is, you know, and it's like, and this came out of A, truth, but B, just on the spot. This guy was calling me thing. It's like, okay, I really hate to tell you this, but I've been called worse and more accurately, I might add, by my mother.